Matthew 8, verse 10. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed and said to those following him, "Truly, I tell you, I've not found anyone in Israel with such great faith." This is a story of the healing of the centurion's servant, just at a word of command from a distance. And it's interesting that Jesus commends the faith of the centurion, not the ingenuity or the persistence or the kindness. It's something that we forget, that faith is not a religious preserve, but it's a human principle. It's a principle of motivation. We believe in things. We trust our senses. We trust our families. We trust our bank managers, despite all the reasons to the contrary. And in Hebrews it says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. Hope is the ground of faith to rest on. So I just want to ask the question, what was Jesus commending exactly? And why? And I think first, he saw something in the man's kindness towards his servant, a mere servant, you might say. Again, it's not a religious thing, but it's where people reveal themselves, isn't it? The way they behave towards their dog. Tiny acts of kindness. It shows something outside the normal run of human selfishness, and then it develops into bigger things, like with this man. If you read the context in Matthew 8, it says he was helping build the synagogue, or he's caring for our nation, the Jewish nation. So there was something. Did Jesus see in his kindness an evidence of his faith? I think so. He was pushing forward to something beyond himself. And also there's something in the guy's humility. He said, "I'm not worthy to have you under my roof." And Jesus doesn't underline the guy's humility. He focuses on the faith. But faith is trust. And trust means dependence on someone else, doesn't it? And it's an opposite attitude to the kind of independence that we tout, the trust in self. And so where there's a spirit of proud independence, you don't find humility, but neither do you find faith. It's the old line, "I am the master of my fate, I am the captain of my soul." And we encourage our children to learn to be independent, sure, and learn to live on your own 2 feet, as my father said to me with a raised voice, just like that. Be no one's slave. But what we mean by independence is really to rejoice in being bound by no ties, and saying, "I need no one else. I will survive. I did it my way." We have this kind of... But Christianity is different from that. Christianity desires true freedom. And true freedom is when you relinquish false lords so that you can live your life to your true Lord. And this is what's happening here, you see. And that faith in Jesus had set this man free from the chains of independence. This was the freedom of the centurion. He chose his master. And he wasn't worried about the emperor at Rome or the local guy down the road at Caesarea, the immoral local ruler. But he kneels before Jesus, and his freedom was the freedom of somebody who voluntarily calls Jesus Lord. And it shows that humility shows faith. But third, there was something going on in his mind. And this is the most wonderful thing. He believed in the invisible, living will of God. "Lord, just speak the word, and my servant is healed." And he learnt it, you see. He didn't rely on his senses. He didn't want Jesus, like you might call on a consultant doctor, to come and take on your case. Or the way you angle yourself so you get to speak to the top speaker at a conference. He just believed in the God that Jesus was representing. Do you see that? And he'd learned this through his army training. "I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me." And he meant by this, I, by the command of will, obtain the obedience of my dependents, and you, by by the obedience of yours. And sickness and in health are in your hands. They're your servants. So he's looking at the world like it's a kind of from a soldier's perspective. He's seeing it like a war zone, and you're in under one authority or the other. He'd chosen his authority, and he says, speak the word, Lord, speak the word, because I too am a man under authority. I say to my soldiers, go, they go, come, and they come, but I receive commands, and in that receiving and giving of commands, I trust you. I trust you. Authority is paramount in the army, isn't it? The first rule is to obey, to give and receive commands. And so, through his own context, his soldier's training, he sees what Jesus is about. And faith took its form. Because we only see from our own vantage point, don't we? You know, you've got a mother and child, and she learns about love and tenderness and giving. A company manager learns about control and integrity and the value of trusted subordinates. A journalist learns to trust some sources and not others. You know, faith is a principle in every corner of life. My love affair with my wife teaches me about God's love. My trust for another human being teaches me about God's love for me. We are where we are, and so everybody in their own way, each in his own place, each through their little spot of vantage point in the universe finds who God is. And so the soldier, from his point of view, saw what God was doing. And he says, speak the word, speak the word. Faith is a mighty principle. So we just say, speak the word, and your servant is healed. Isn't it a powerful word? Do you receive it today? God bless you.